I'm Diane Schroer, and I work as a consultant in counterterrorism, homeland security, and defense. I'm 53 years old. I was raised on the south side of Chicago. I'm a graduate of the Army's Airborne Ranger and Special Forces courses. The last 18 years of my Army career were spent exclusively doing special forces and special operations work. Following my retirement from the Army, I saw a job with the Library of Congress and applied for it. When I read the job qualifications, it almost seemed like it was tailor-made for me. After I was told that I was selected for the position as the senior analyst in international terrorism, I arranged to go to lunch with my new boss, and then I told her of my plans to complete my transition and my preference to actually start work as Diane. But as we finished the conversation, she said to me, "Well, you've given me a lot to think about, and I'll be in touch."
My name is James Essex, and I'm co-director of the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and AIDS Project at the ACLU. We were immediately taken with the case for two reasons. We were looking for a case that we could use to make the argument that existing civil rights laws, for example, the federal law that bans employment discrimination based on sex, should cover transgender people. The larger answer to why we're interested in their case is that it's just an incredibly compelling story, and what we need is to find stories that are going to help get America more generally familiar with transgender people and feel like, I know that this story that I'm hearing is wrong.
My name is Sharon McGowan, and I'm a staff attorney with the ACLU's Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Project. Diane's case was such a stark example of how much discrimination hurts all of us. She was someone who had served her country for 25 years, had achieved high ranks in the U.S. military and numerous commendations, and was clearly the most qualified person for the job that she applied for at the Library of Congress. And yet simply when her future supervisor learned that she was transitioning from David to Diane, they told her that she wasn't a good fit and that they no longer wanted her services.
And so here you have a woman who has given the majority of her life to the United States, fighting terrorism, and is then told by the same government that she served that she was acceptable to do counterterrorism research for them as a guy, but she can't do it for them as a woman. I think it resonates with many, many people, and we figured no one can hear that story and not think that there's something wrong there.
The folks at the ACLU, and especially my attorney, Sharon McGowan, convinced me that there was a tremendous opportunity here to do some very, very fundamental public education about my story and what it really means to be a transgendered person with the challenges of employment discrimination. The entire experience of the lawsuit has been, I think I'd have to say honestly, a bit of a roller coaster. Each time a ruling came out, Sharon would usually give me the Cliff Notes version up front, so I knew whether it was good news or bad news. But certainly when we got the final verdict from the judge, it was as though a tremendous weight had been taken off my shoulders.
Diane's case represents a breakthrough in federal employment law because it means that transgender individuals are covered under the federal ban on sex discrimination in the workplace.
I think that for many years, transgender people have just assumed that one of the costs that they would need to incur in order to live an honest and true life would mean that they would lose their job, that they might have to move to a new community and completely start all over. And I think that a variety of social changes that have been taking place, as well as decisions like the decision we got in Diane's case, give people hope that they won't have to just start from scratch, that they may actually be able to hold on to their job if they are a good and solid employee.
Non-discrimination in employment, unfortunately, remains for a number of trans people a huge hurdle in their life, and it just shouldn't be.
Diane's case marks one of the watershed moments in the movement for transgender equality. As Congress debates the Federal Employment Non-Discrimination Act, hopefully stories like Diane's story will give them the courage and the conviction to make clear once and for all that that kind of discrimination is truly un-American and will no longer be tolerated in this country.
Very much on the line, very much in public, and put other things in her life on hold to fight this battle against the federal government.
I know the world looks at me very differently. I interact with the world differently, but I still see myself as very much the same person. And now there was a benchmark on the wall. It was a tremendous personal victory. And I think I certainly won't presume to speak for all trans people, but I believe that all trans people took a measure of the victory personally. So that benchmark would not have appeared on the books were it not for Sharon McGowan and the entire LGBT project at the ACLU.